for the last part of GenMath Quarter 2, Week 3. So we're going to have lesson number 3, which is about solving simple annuities and general annuities. So in this lesson, we're going to define the terms related with simple annuities and general annuities and solve the future value and present value of both simple annuity and general annuities. So let us start with the definition of terms of the variables that we're going to deal with solving simple annuities and general annuities. So the different terms that you're going to consider are the first one is term of an annuity, represented by small letter t. So this will be the time between the first payment interval and the last payment interval. Regular or periodic payment, we have capital letter R, or kung magkano yung paulit-ulit niya binabayad. That is the amount of each payment. Amount or future value of an annuity, represented by capital F. That is the sum of the future values of all the payments to be made during the entire term of the annuity. And present value of an annuity, we have P. That is the sum of the present values of all the payments to be made during the entire term of the annuity. So again, in simple annuity, the payment interval is the same as the interest period. So in finding the amount or future value of a simple annuity, the formula to be used will be this one on the third box, and that is F equals R times 1 plus J raised to N minus 1 divided by J. So R here is the regular payment, and then J is the interest rate per period, N is the number of payments, and sa ilalim is J ulit. Okay? Now, let us have an example on how to solve for the future value, or F, of a given problem. Example number 1, suppose Mrs. Remoto would like to save 3,000 pesos every month in a fund that gives 9% compounded monthly. How much is the amount or future value of her savings after 6 months? So in here, let us first identify the given values. So the periodic payment, or capital R, is 3,000 pesos kasi yun yung babayaran niya every month. So R equals 3,000. Next, the term or the time is 6 months according to the problem. And then interest rate per annum is 0.09. Saan nanggaling yan? Ito siya sa given na 9%. Okay? So that is the interest rate per annum or per year. Next is the number of conversions per year, which is M. So saan manggagaling yun? We have here the monthly. So since monthly siya nakalagay, therefore number of conversions per year is 12. And the total number of conversions, and total number means kung ilang beses siya magbabayad total term or the whole term. So kung 6 months yan and monthly siya nagbabayad, therefore we have 6. And then the interest rate per period, or J, which is not given pero pwede siyang isolve, you're just going to divide I divided by M. Again, J is equal to I divided by M. So I is 0.09, and then M is 12 because it is compounded monthly. Therefore, kung i-divide yan, we have 0.09 divided by 12. So we have 0.0075. Again, J is 0.09 divided by 12, or I divided by M. So we have 0.0075. Now, Kapag kumpleto na yung given, make sure meron kayong R, merong J, and merong N. Since complete na, pwede na tayong mag-solve using the formula F equals R times the quantity 1 plus J raised to N minus 1 divided by J. So, first thing to do is to substitute the values that we got from the given problem. So, R is 3,000 or the regular payment times 1 plus yung na-solve natin na J, which is 0.0075, close parenthesis, exponent is N, or kung ilang beses siya magbabayad, that is 6, minus 1, divided by 0.0075, or J. Now, how to solve this using the calculator? So, pwede siyang tuloy-tuloy, pero mas madali kung unti-unti siyang i-enter sa calcu para mas accurate yung mga napipindot yung keys. So, how to solve in the calculator kapag ganito siya karami? So, gagawin natin is, i-enter natin mula sa loob, palabas. Paano yung mula sa loob, palabas? Start tayo dito sa naka-parenthesis. Okay? So, ang naka-parenthesis natin is 1 plus 0.0075. Then, equals, yan. So, hayaan nyo muna yan, huwag nyo muburahin. Then, raised to 6. So, this will be the key for exponent. Raised to 6 equals, okay? And then, susunod is minus 1. Minus 1 equals again, okay? And then, dito na tayo sa divided by 0.0075 equals, okay? And then, lastly, you multiply yung R. So, you have times 3,000 equals. Okay. So, we got 18,340.89. So, therefore, your future value or after 6 months, ang magiging pera na ni Mrs. Remoto in saving 3,000 per month, then 9% compounded monthly yung interest. So, after 6 months, she will have 18,340.89 pesos. So, that is how to solve the future value or F of a given annuity, simple annuity. Next, how to find the present value of a simple annuity. So, the formula in finding the present value of a simple annuity is P equals R times 1 minus 1 plus J raised to negative N divided by J. Again, to find the present value of a simple annuity, we have R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N divided by J. So again, R here is the regular payment, J is the interest rate per period, and N is the total number of payments. Now let us have an example on how to find or on how to solve for the present value of a simple annuity. So suppose Mrs. Remoto would like to know the present value of her monthly deposit of 3,000 pesos when interest rate is 9% compounded monthly. How much is the present value of her savings at the end of 6 months? So again, R is 3,000, term is 6 months, interest rate per annum is 0.09 or 9%. Number of conversions per year is 12 kasi monthly siya, compounded monthly. And total number of conversions is 6 kasi 6 months lang siya magbabayad and monthly siya nagbabayad. Or to multiply 12 months in a year times 0.5 kasi half a year lang siya yung term, no? So 12 times 0.05 is also 6. Interest rate period, again, hindi given to, pero pwede siyang isolve by dividing I divided by M. So, I is 0.09 divided by 12, and that is 0.0075. So, halos same lang yung process ng pagkuha ng mga given. Pero yung process and formula ay magkaiba. So, for P, or the present value, the formula is R times 1 minus 1 plus J raised to negative N divided by J. So, substitute the values. R is 3,000, J is 0.0075, N is 6, and J again sa ibaba is 0.0075. Now, paano naman siya gawin sa calculator? So, halos kamukha lang na kanina, start ulit sa loob. So, in this case, ang nasa loob ng parenthesis dito is 1 plus 0.0075. Ayun, yung nasa parenthesis, equals. And then, raised to, so yung key for exponent, and then, exponent is negative 6. So, raised to negative 6 equals. And then, 1 minus answer. Hindi siya pwedeng answer minus 1. Nagiging mali yung sagot nyo. Again, it should be 1 minus yung answer na nakuha natin kanina. Equals. Next, divided by 0.0075 equals. And then lastly, i-multiply dun sa nasa labas na 3,000 equals. Okay, so we got the present value of her savings after 6 months. We have 17,536.79. Now, for the cash value or cash price, this is represented by CV. So, cash value or cash price is equal to the down payment, if there is any, plus the present value of the installment payment. So, there are some instances na nagda-down payment bago magbayad regularly. So, that is called cash value, and it is solved by, again, down payment plus the present value. So, let us have an example on how to solve for the cash value or CV. So, say for example, Mr. Ribaya paid 200,000 as down payment for a car. The remaining amount is to be settled by paying 16,200 at the end of each month for 5 years, and the interest is 10.5% compounded monthly. What is the cash price of his car? So that means magkano yung total na babayaran niya at the end of the 5 years. Kasama na yung down payment, tsaka yung monthly payment, plus the interest, of course. Okay? Let us identify first the given values. So, meron siyang down payment or DP na 200,000. Regular payment niya, after niya mag-down payment, syempre may babayaran siyang paulit-ulit. That is 16,200. The interest is 10.5%. In decimal, that is 0.105. Next, J is again computed by I divided by M. I is yung kanina, which is 0.105 divided by M. So, M here is nakalagay compounded monthly. So, kung monthly yan, M equals 12. So, 0.105 divided by 12. So, let us use the calculator. So, to solve for J in the calculator, that is 0.105 divided by 12 equals. So, gawin natin yan. So, para maging maayos siya na pagkakasulat, since meron siyang times 10 raised to negative 3, shift ENG. Again, shift ENG. Yan. So, we have 0.00875. Okay, that is your J. Okay. time or the term is 5 years. N or the total number of conversions, ilang beses siya magbabayad, all in all. M times T. M is 12 times time or term, we have 5, and that is 60. So, 60 times siya magbabayad. So, how to solve? So, kamukha na ginawa natin kanina, first you must solve for the present value. So, the present value is, again, given by R times 1 minus 1 plus j raised to negative n divided by j. So, substituting the values, ito siya. So, to solve in your calculator, we have, mula sa loob, we have 1 plus 0.00875 equals, and then raised to negative 60 equals, and then again, 1 minus answer, dito yan, 1 minus yung nakuha dito equals, then divided by j ulit, 0.00875 equals, and then lastly multiply sa nasa labas times 16,200. Okay, so present value is 753,702.20. So, round off natin. That will be 0.20. Now, present value pa lang yun. Again, ang tinatanong niya is the cash price of the car. So, i-add nyo yung dinagdag niya or yung binayad niya na down payment, which is 200,000. Okay. Let us see kung tama yung nakuha natin. So, again, 200,000 plus nakuha natin na present value, we have 953,702.20. So, that will be the cash price of the car. Next. For the periodic payment, or R, so, yung formula niya is depende sa given. Okay? If the given is F, or the future value, ito yung magiging formula niya. R, yung naka-box, R equals F divided by 1 plus j raised to n minus 1 over j. Kulang yung formula niya. On the other hand, kung P naman ang given, das pinapahanap yung R, it is given by the formula R equals P divided by 1 minus 1 plus j raised to negative n over j. Take note of that, meron siyang over j dito. Let us have an example. Yan. Paulo borrowed 100,000 pesos. He agrees to pay the principal plus interest by paying an equal amount of money each year for 3 years. What should be his annual payment if interest is 8% compounded annually? So, let us have the given values. Paulo borrowed 100,000. So, yun yung amount na una niyang hiniram. That means it is a present value, or P. So, our P is 100,000. What else? So, again, ang bayad niya is each year siya nagbabayad. That means annually for 3 years. So, 3 here is the time or term. What should be his annual payment? That is ang tinatanong niya is R, or the regular payment. If interest is 8%, therefore I is 0.08. Or 0.08. Compounded annually. So, therefore, kung compounded annually, your M is equal to 1. Okay? Now, solve for J and N. J is, again, I divided by M, or 0.08 divided by 1. That is still 0.08. And N is M times T. So, that is 1 times 3, 3 periods. Or, 3 beses lang siya magbabayad. Okay? So, obviously, once a year siya magbabayad, for 3 years, therefore 3 times ang bayad niya, or 3 periods. Now, to solve for R, or the regular payment, use this formula. Hindi yung nasa itaas, ang isi-solve nyo is yung R, which is P divided by 1 minus 1 plus J raised to negative N divided by J. So, substitute the values and then use your calculator to solve. So, we have 1, same process, 1 plus 0.08 equals raised to negative 3 equals, and then 1 minus the answer, and then divided by 0.08, and then hindi siya multiplication, so ang gagawin nyo is 100, hindi pwedeng baliktad, 100,000 divided by answer. Hindi pwedeng answer divided by 100,000. Okay, take note of that. So, equals. So, you have 38,803.35. That means every year, kailangan nyo magbayad ng 38,803.35. So, the first examples are all about simple annuity. How about for general annuity? And remember, in general annuity, the payment interval is not the same as the interest compounding period. So, how do we solve for the future value, present value of the general annuity? Actually, have the same formula. F is still R times 1 plus J raised to N minus 1 over J, and P is also R times 1 minus 1 plus J raised to negative N over J. So, what is the difference in solving? In here, since magkaiba nga yung interest period and payment interval, kailangan muna nating mag-convert. How is that? Let us have an example. Chris started to deposit 1,000 monthly into a fund that pays 6% compounded quarterly. How much will be in the fund after 15 years? So, look at this problem. R, or the regular payment, is 1,000. N is 12. Why 12 times 15? We have monthly siya magbabayad, no? Times 15 years. So, 12 times 15 is 80. Next, I is 6% or 0.06. M is 4 because it is compounded quarterly. Find F. So, to solve for the future value, hindi pwedeng isolve agad. Kailangan munang isolve yung J. So, yung J natin dito, hindi siya pwedeng I divided by M. Because this is a problem which involves general annuity. So, anong gagawin muna natin para makuha yung J? So, we have here a formula for converting J. So, explain ko lang kung paano nakuha yung solution na to. So, pinag-equal niya lang yung dalawang formula for F. Shortcut tayo. So, kung P times 1 plus I over 12, yung sa left, that means ito yung compounded monthly. Yung sa kabila is compounded quarterly. So, paano malalaman kung ano yung pinagkaiba? Since this is over 12, ito yung compounded monthly. And ang hinahanap natin, or yung given, is compounded quarterly. So, we have P times 1 plus I over 12 raised to 12t equals P times 1 plus I raised to 4 over 4 times raised to 40. So, para mas madali kapag ganito, start kayo dito sa third na part. So, we have 1 plus I raised to 12 over 12 raised to 12 equals 1 plus 0.06 divided by 4. Pwede nyo nang isolve agad yun. So, 6% divided by 4. Using our calculator. So, ang gagawin nyo lang is 0.06 or yung 6% compounded quarterly. So, divided by 4 is 3 over 200. And then, plus 1. Okay. And then, raised to 4, because it is compounded quarterly. Ayan. And then, raised to 1 over 12. Because we are converting from quarterly to monthly. Okay? So, ito na yun. Yung 1.015 raised to 4 raised to 1 over 12. Okay? And then, minus 1. So, again, para matanggal yun, Shift E and G. So, we have 0.00497521. Okay? Again, how to solve? Interest of 0.06 divided by 4 because it is compounded quarterly, and then plus 1 raised to 4 because again it is compounded quarterly, and then again raised to 1 divided by 12 or 1 over 12 kasi i-convert mo siya into monthly. And then, minus 1. Then, para maging standard siya, Shift E and G. Yan. There are some calculators na hindi na siya lumilitaw na ganun. So, no need to enter Shift E and G. So, that is your J. 0.004975. So, pag nag-solve na kayo, yun yung gagamitin yung J. So, same process. Kamukha ng ginagawa natin kanina. So, we have 1 plus 0.00497521 raised to 180 equals minus 1 divided by 0.00497521. And lastly, times 1,000. Okay, so we have 290,082.51. So that will be the fund after 15 years. So, same is true if the given is a present or future value. Again, kailangan nyo munang mag-solve for J. And since this is a general annuity, you must first convert. If the given is 8% compounded quarterly, and then hahanapin yung compounded annually niya. So, we have 1 plus ito dito. We have, to convert, we have 0.08 or 8% divided by 4, compounded quarterly, plus 1 raised to 4, and then raised to 1. So, from quarterly, gagawin siyang annually. So, same lang yun. And then, minus 1. So, we have 0.082432. So, yun yung J na gagamitin nyo to solve for P. So, we have 1 plus 0.082432 raised to negative 3. And then 1 minus the answer divided by 0.082432, then times 38,973.76. Okay, so therefore we have 100,000 pesos. So therefore, Ken borrowed 100,000 from Kat. So same lang yung process. Hindi na tayo nag-go on into details. But again, kapag general annuity, pag nakita nyo na magkaiba yung interval payment, or payment interval and interest rate period, you're going to convert first the interest rate to solve for J bago kayo mag-solve for P, R, or F. So in here, we're going to solve for activity 1, activity 2, assessment card, and enrichment card.